Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for starting the recording. Sorry, I forgot to say. Thank you, sir. Okay, so can you guys see the projected stuff? Okay. I'll get rid of it in a minute. That's not the gist. I try my hardest to be independent of the presentations and really just give them to you to lean on. So yeah, good evening to everyone. Thank you for being here. I wanted to correct a misspeaking I made last class. I said last class was the 9th class. Today is the 9th class. The reason I said that is because I got mixed up by myself and changed the orders of the lessons. Last lesson, which was lesson number 8, I am moving my cursor around it. We did verbs. So instead of particle et, we did verbs. So I kind of changed the order. Good evening, ma'am. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. We have Carol joining. Just to help her jump in. Now I'm referring to the syllabus. So I always do this when I refer to changes I'm making. I promise you there's definitely a thought process into this. There's a logic. Remember, this is a pilot class. As I go, I realize, okay, this makes sense better. It makes sense better to continue with this rather than do this now. So last lesson, which was lesson 8, today we're on lesson 9. Instead of doing particle et, we did verbs. Now, here's the thing. Verbs are very important. I want to continue doing verbs. Verbs are, yeah, most of sentence building. And delay us tackling particle et. I got some feedback that we need to practice rather than just jump into new material. The thought behind me jumping into new material is that we will actually have a syllabus that's worth a while, and 12 lessons, and that assuming that the class is recorded, so you can always refer back to it. So today is another change that I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna delay particle et. It's an important one, but very, very, very tricky. Once you get it, you kind of got Hebrew, kind of. But I want to do today verbs. I want to continue verbs, which is why I left our blackboard the same, and get to questions. Okay, so that will be today on lesson 9. And then lesson 10 and 11, we will dedicate to particle et. Hopefully we'll do some music analyzing through it, through the material we're learning, which leads us to lesson 12. Lesson 12 is going to be the 28th of May, so that's the last class, if I remember correctly, without the calendar in front of my face. But yeah, this month the Hebrew class is coming to a conclusion. I will say next lesson is going to be on Zoom. I'm going to be in Colorado Springs next week. Okay, so next week the lesson is going to be on Zoom, and I will mention it in an email following. This program we're doing in Colorado Springs and is also coming to a conclusion, so that next session there is important. Ergo, next lesson will be on Zoom for the sake of everyone hearing it again. I know it's less than ideal, but I've kind of figured out a system to how to tackle it. I make slides on Paint before, so I won't struggle with replacing the keyboard to Hebrew and then English and then translate. It'll be okay. We'll get to everything. Yeah, and then lesson 12, we'll do a recap and summary of the lessons, everything we learned. Feedback questionnaire, I will hand out some form of questionnaire, what to do better, what to do more, what to do less, what to practice more, and so on and so forth. That's about it. I will say the aim behind speaking about the syllabus is that the mentality behind what we're trying to do here will always be relayed to you. Good evening, sir. Good to see you. We have Steve joining us. So that's the idea. We will get to everything. As you can see, the last 3 lessons are really music analyzing, recap, and summary, and we are going to do questions today. So we have a cushion, we have the time, we'll get to everything. And for all questions and whatever, feel free to reach out to me. And with that being said, I'm going to stop my share. Everyone at home should see my screen. And here's another word about it. Since we are doing the same material, the last worksheet still holds. That's why today there's no new one. There is one I'm working on. You'll probably get it on Thursday for this material, which is verbs. Okay. There was a question from last lesson from Jeff, sir. You asked if the noun will always be after the pronoun. The answer is, for our intents and purposes, yes. When it doesn't, it gets conjugated. And I actually have an example the rabbi brought me. I think it's still in the office. One moment. I'll grab it.
How they do spelling bees? They don't use spell.
Sir, this is how you see it. So I just handed Jeff, I'm here in the classroom, one of the conjugation charts that shows a possessive conjugation that we are not gonna learn. Okay, me, myself, and I had a meeting and realized, okay, that is too much for this lesson. Getting all the possessive molds on top of everything we're trying to do here from scratch is too much. So for the sake of answering that question, sir, it won't come before, but sometimes it'll come in the same word. Okay, my name is one of those examples. Do I have room here? Maybe, yeah. My name is an example. Okay, Matani. Matana or matan is a gift or a giving. Matan. Matan. So that's a giving or a gift. Matani means mine, my gift. And that's, I'll write it down. I'll always do this. Matani. So adding the yud in this sense means mine, my gift. So it won't come before, it'll come together. That's something we're not gonna learn. I didn't want to overly confuse you all. Because it's not just mine, right? It's ours, matnatenu, matnato, matnata, hers, his, hers, theirs. So I tried to keep it simple. We don't really use this anymore. Where do you see it in the Bible? In the Bible, it almost feels like they tried to say more with less. And that's where you see a lot of these conjugations. Hopefully, eventually, when we have a biblical Hebrew, it'll connect more. Israelis, just to remove any doubt at home as well, we don't use it. Rarely, one of the more rare occasions. Except, yeah, this is my name. So yeah, I'll erase that. Sorry?
What did you say?
Yeah, or a giving.
Is that why you were called Matani? You're a gift?
Yes, sir.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah. But yeah, it has nothing to do with today's lesson. I did gut that when I look at Hebrew as a greater whole, and I told myself, okay, what can we manage in 12 lessons? That's one of those things I left out. Since you're writing that, I will leave it in, but know that we don't need to remember it. You can't see from there, right, sir? Can't see. Thank you for being here. So yeah, we have here our last, how we left the blackboard last class. And I did forget an L that I added now. So for those wondering from last class, I added the L here that I forgot last time. So there it is. So yeah, the reason I'm leaving this as is, and I am going to delete my name now, is because last lesson, we spoke about something very important. We kind of saw, and you see it on the presentation, we have the table, and maybe I should share my screen just for a minute so you can see what I mean. Share. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. So at the end, you have the different in the next slide as well. You guys can see the slides moving, right? Here you should see like a green table. Should see a green table now. Sir Clarence?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
So
see
yeah,
it.
on the
see it good.
presentation, thank you. On the presentation, you have other examples, and this is what I wanted to show you, and I'm getting to right now, is that we have the different molds and different particles of grammar for verbs and words. So if you remember last time, we spoke about how halicha is a walk. I want to go on a walk, halicha. And then we spoke how an infinite to walk is la lechet. And I want to point out we have la, to, okay? So the preposition or particle to, where, to somewhere, here. To where? To walk. And one of the reasons why I dwell on this, I am going to stop share. One of the reasons why I dwell on this and pointing at here is because it's exactly like English. We've seen a lot of things that are different. This doesn't exist there. That doesn't exist in Hebrew. This is directly the same. This means to walk, exactly as it is in English. To walk. Except we don't have a space. But that's important for us to know as we go on, because as we go on, we want to learn how the different verbs change. They change when we are alone. They change when we are together. They change when we are doing something alone, doing something together. And we're starting to see it. Note, last lesson we started to speak about the roots of the words and the verbs that in turn become molds. And here you can see the same letters repeat. Lamed, hey, or lamed, chaf, lamed, chaf, lamed, chaf. Yeah. So this is one of those times when we have a root of two letters. And that one you see in the Bible as well a lot. And Abraham, when the Holy One told him, Lech lecha me'aretzecha, go forth from your land, leave, when he told him to leave, in any case. So yeah. So yeah, and this is just walk or a walk. It's not a walk in that sense, it's a walking, a walking. And now what I want to do is have other examples. And we do have another type of verbs called dependent verbs that we are going to do today. We'll get to that. I'm going to erase the board.
Hey, Matani, while you're doing that, racing the board,
Sorry, yeah.
go on and race the board. I just wanted to ask a question. Doesn't Lake Lecha mean literally go to thyself or go thyself?
Yeah, it does, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, it does.
Lake Lecha.
Yes, sir. Well said. And you know what? Once we do have the biblical Hebrew, I think you'll enjoy that one. You'll enjoy that one.
Question, can you hear me? Can
Please,
you hear me? I have a question.
please.
Where do you get the H? If it's laleket, how did you come up with an H for haleka?
You're talking about the transliteration?
Um,
I'll write it down again.
oh, I think I get it. I think that's because it was no?
If you remember the word, the example, I can write it down. If you want to spell it out to me.
Okay, the infinitive is laleket, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you want to say I walk, what do you say?
That's exactly what we're gonna get to right now, man.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So another thing we spoke about last class is how, at least for me, it was easier to treat it like a calculus table almost. Why? Is because when I want to say I walk, for example, that's me walking, which means, for example, ani. We already learned this word, which means I, me, or I am. There's a difference between that. She is walking, he is walking, we are walking, remember? So we have all of those. Which is why I want us to treat this like a calculus table. And then when we do speak and we want to say, I am walking or I'm going, then yeah, it'll pop right up to us. So for the sake of the matter, I am going or walking. First person, right? Me, I'm talking. Ani, we already said that's me, I am. Would you like to read it, ma'am?
Ani olech.
Nice. Very well. Ani holech. I'll do another one. I'd like you to read that one as well, ma'am, but I'll write it down first. Would you like to try, ma'am?
Ani holechet.
Nice. Very well. Well done. Here are the two ways to say I am, or either I am walking or I am going. And I'm going to write that down here. The reason I say two ways is because me, I can be either female or male, right? So one moment, I'll I will say this is the male version. This, and this is the female one. Walking or going. So me Matani, because I'm a male, I will say ani olech. That's very well used as I'm also I'm leaving, or I'm going, in the sense that I'm leaving. So let's say I'm spending an evening with a friend and I'm done. I can tell him, oh, ani olech, I'm going. Had enough, I'm done. I'm going away. Oops, I wrote male again. So this is female. Just remove that. Now, you, ma'am, Kathy, you will say
Yes.
ani holechet, because you are a female.
Mhm.
So, and it goes back to the lesson we learned about gender, male versus female. Again, remember the sounds repeat. The male ends with no vowel. Okay, and the female in this occasion ends with an et. See it here. Male with no vowel. Ani holech. No vowel. Ani holechet. We learned that et finishing testifies for female. So here we see that repeat before our eyes. And if we want to be even more intrinsic, we can say, I'm going to Israel on Sunday. Okay? We learned the days of the week. Now this is me trying to refresh them. We learned two. We just talked about it before I erased the board. And I want you to see that you have all the components to start building sentences that mean more than I do. I, whatever, watermelon. So since these two mean the same, I'm going to add the continuance to the sentence below, and I am going to delete the translation, so since we know what it means.
I have a question.
Please.
Why is the hay in front of the verbs?
This one?
Both of them, yeah.
So in this case, it's part of the conjugation. If you remember, this is the root, lamed and chaf. Get my words right.
That's exactly my question. Where did the H come from? A lot of the verbs like to eat,
Yep.
okel, okelet, it kind of got most of the letters in the infinitive, but in walking, all of a sudden there's an H, and I don't know where that came from. The hay, I should say. I'm sorry, the hay.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, I think I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Okay.
So here's the thing, just to tackle that real quick. And now I'm realizing maybe that's not the greatest of examples because it has a two-letter root. Usually, people will add the hey. I gotta tell you, it's almost a part of the root, the hey here. If you remember, we said, how do we detect what is the root, or how do we strip the verb? We go to the male version, or he, in the past tense. In this sense, a male who walked in the past tense is this. Halach. As you can see, the hey shows up here. The reason why it doesn't in the root is because it doesn't show up in all the conjugations. It needs to show up in all the conjugations in order to be part of the root. However, this is an irregular example because for all intents and purposes, it serves a significant part of the verb. I almost want to dare and say that it is part of the root, but it doesn't show up. And it doesn't show up in all of them, like we just saw with lechet, that we see in the Bible a lot. That we just had here. I'm adding it here to remind us. So we don't have a hey here. What we do have repeating is the lamed and chaf. To show that exactly how that specifically is irregular, we are going to do other verbs today. Maybe eat is a good example, or I want to do something else, but yeah. I want to make sure this answers. So for example, when we conjugate the hey keeps, the only reason I don't mention that it's part of the root is because it technically isn't. I try to reduce the technicalities to a minimum. Here we have. Ma'am, does that answer?
Oh, I'm muted. Okay, yes, thank you.
We will do another example, but so we will revisit this again and again.
Hey, Matani,
Please,
can I interject something?
please.
Okay, the H on like many words like halach is
Okay.
there because when you form a sentence, especially in biblical, when you form a sentence, the next word after it is gonna also have a H. So, and it has to have a congregation to that word, the H, in order to fit in with the next word that comes. So, ani halach ha'ir, so I walked to the city, and what it means in English, the walk or of walk to the city. So it has to have the H to go with ha'er.
Sir, you are completely right when it comes to biblical Hebrew. Completely right. I have no other way to put it. In modern Hebrew, there will be a different way to do it. You said very well. It'll be ani holech ha'ir. I am going to town. In a biblical sense, I don't want you to remember this. I am answering him. You're right. And today, because we're not as fancy and we lost a lot of those, I would usually say ani holech la'ir, la or le'ir. As you remember, it means two. So that's how it differs from the biblical sense. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, completely.
But I'm glad, look, you're practicing. I do want you to keep in mind that Hebrew today is different from Hebrew then. But yeah, it keeps telling me how much we need a biblical class. Let's continue the sentence. We said to Israel on Sunday, right? I will say also that a lot of the biblical words will be the ones that have two letters roots. I did say last time, usually it'll be three, sometimes four, rare times even five. It's the twos that are the most annoying.
Yes, because every verb and every noun have to be similar in biblical, not modern.
Yes, sir. And here we have our be that we learned way back in the first few lessons. Sun. Yeah, yes, sir. Well done, sir. Yom Rishon, Sunday. Rishon alone means first. So to circle back what we just said, Steve raised it. If you remember when we did the days of the week, as we said, Yom means day. And the way we refer to days, we don't have it's not Wednesday or Sunday, of course. What we do is the first day, the second day, the third day. So Yom Rishon, can you all see it there? Yom Rishon literally means on the first day or Sunday. Remember the literal meaning versus what we make of the sense. Okay, so for the sake of the matter, these two mean the same thing, except this is how a male would speak, this is how a female would speak. The rest is the same for either. So, let's say I'm Jeff and I want to tell someone I'm going to Israel on Sunday. And remember, walk interchangeably uses as go or going. אני הולך לישראל. ישראל ביום ראשון. Let's say I'm someone female. Let's say I'm Kara, and I want to tell someone I'm going to Israel on Sunday. אני הולכת לישראל ביום ראשון. And note that we have the two sheens here. Here the sheen serves as an S because the dot is on the left. Here it serves as an SH, a sh, because the dot is on the right. We have our particle be, in, at. In this sense, it's on Sunday, right? Or how do you say it properly in English, grammatically? I am going to Israel on Sunday. In this sense, it serves as an on. But we're trying to determine a point in time here. So, and I forgot the emphasis too. Be Yom Rishon. What's up with me today? Sorry, forgive me. Yom Rishon.
In English, the literal interpretation would be, I'm going to Israel on the day of Sunday.
On the day first.
Yes, on the day of Sunday.
Yeah.
On the day Sunday, on the day of Sunday.
Yeah, it can go that way. Yeah. I just don't want you to think that this word alone means Sunday. Rishon means first.
Right, first day.
I can also say Berishon, and the person will understand, seeing as how we're talking, and he understands what I mean. You know?
Right.
But that means context. So Beyom Rishon means on the first day.
Right. Which literally, biblically, is the first day Sunday.
And here's a question for the audience. I want to see who wants to try. Now, I can just keep this bottom part. We know what it means. What I want us to try is to conjugate the verbs. And in this sense, the pronouns as well. So we did the very simple ones. Me, okay, both female and male. Now I want us to try, well, the others. So, does anyone want to try? Let's say us. Does anyone remember how to say us?
Ani halonu Yisrael beyom verishon.
Wait, man. Sorry.
Holenu.
Well, So here's the thing. I'm gonna erase the female and the male and do this. So, Sir Clarence, you did the verb right, you didn't do the pronoun.
Ah, okay.
Well, how did you say the verb again?
Holenu, us, le Yisrael, beyom Rishon. We are going to Jerusalem on the first day.
Anachnu. Well done, man. How do we say us? Anachnu. I'm gonna write it down.
Ah, nachnu. Ah. Nachnu. Holenu. Holenu. Aha. Nachnu.
Anachnu. Us, we. Holchim. Okay. So let's say, again, there are two ways, either a group of males or females. I'm gonna do both. So I'm gonna add another anachnu here. This is one. This will be two. So we have two anachnus, and we know we are plural people. Okay, so us. So more than one, which means we are going. We already know the root of the word, lamed chaf, will be in both. Now let's say the number one is for a group of males. Okay, so number one will be plural masculine. Number two will be plural females or feminine.
Isn't there something missing from number two?
So I didn't finish out the verb yet. And
On the
need
nachnu.
anachnu. No. No, I don't think I'm missing anything.
Well, I was trying to figure out how is it different from male and female.
So we don't have gender.
Oh,
And it's both. Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of a non-determined. Okay, so anachnu is non-determined.
okay.
Hi.
Yeah, just like ani is for I. You need to look and see if it's a group of either only males or females, or it's easy when it's something defined like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you know. But yeah, anachnu, us, we.
So is it safe to say, we hear that word so much in prayer book,
Mm-hmm.
we pray,
Mm-hmm.
not we blah, blah, blah.
Anachnu mitpalelim. Yeah, we see it a lot in the prayers on services. Because usually it will say we pray, anachnu mitpalelim. Yeah. Yes, sir. So I added the two letters, and I'll complete the verbs. The space here. Now, if you remember, when we pluralize something to male, male somethings, pluralizing them, it'll end with an im. So whole. No. It's אנחנו הולכים לישראל ביום ראשון. We are going to Israel on Sunday. or going to Israel Sunday. So that's the male version, okay? Plural masculine. Does anyone wanna dare try the females? Remember, there is a sound for it. אנחנו
Not me. Like.
Quote.
הולכות,
Oh.
הולכות. You said it, man. And someone on Zoom said it as well, I think. הולכות. I'm gonna write it down. And note that I'm not transliterating. Another feedback I got. That I'm making it too easy. Actually, when you go to Israel, when you go to an ulpan, which literally means studio, they just speak Hebrew to you on the first lesson. Throwing you into the deep end. And again, we see our ending im. אנחנו הולכים. That signals to us that it's a group of males or both, grammatically speaking. And then the plural feminine, אנחנו הולכות. You see it here, הולכות. The ending ot, that repeats. Yeah. We can also replace the אנחנו with they. Okay? So that's what I'm gonna do. Does anyone remember how to say they? You wanna share with us? So this is plural male masculine still. And number 2 is still plural feminine. Who wants to read it? Any volunteers to read?
Holachim. Oh, rest of the sentence.
Please, if you want.
For Israel.
Hello, Rabbi. Bayom Rishon. Yeah.
Sorry,
Sorry?
not auto the change. Oh, never mind.
It's here.
We should-
And then we have the Bible there.
Yeah.
What's Monday?
Sheni. We'll do the next one with Monday. Sheni. So yeah. הם הולכים לישראל ביום ראשון. Wonderfully read, ma'am. Thank you very much. And that means they. Speaking about a group of males. Okay, הם. So yeah. And then we have number 2. Hen. Okay, hen. If you remember, that's what we said about the female version. They are, they are for females, a group of females. Like a chicken, hen. Okay. Hen הולכות. Remember the ot sound. לישראל ביום ראשון. So as you can see, it all, when we think about it like this, it's very comfortable to compile. Okay. So let's think of another example. Eat. Maybe eat. Eat is the nice, easy one. I eat gefilte fish on Monday. Ani, well said, sir. Well started. Ani. People are still writing, which is why I'm not erasing the board. But yeah, it'll start with ani. Well said. So eating is not a verb that I taught you all. It is on the presentation, so some of you more diligent ones probably already know it. I just want to make sure we did it. And after that, I want to do the dependent verbs. Just to preamble what I'm going to do, since people are writing. A dependent verb is a verb that needs context in order to make sense. An example being want. I want. What do you want? Need. I need. What do you need? So there's context required. It really doesn't mean any difference grammatically in Hebrew. We'll still tackle it the same way, but it's just good verbs to know. I need help. I want a menu. Those are things we'll use in Israel. Sorry, did I cover it? Sorry?
What's the verb?
Speaking as a me. Male me. Ani ochel.
L?
Ochel, yeah, yes, sir. You will say that as well. How will a female say it? Ani ochel. Well done, ma'am. Ani ochelet. Well done. And the sounds repeat, as you can see. So I'm going to erase the blackboard now, starting with the top. I'm going to leave this. And this is why, another reason why I say at home, going letter by letter, vowel by vowel, reading it out to yourself helps. Us reading from the presentation is good. What's better is writing from the presentation with your hand. Speaking from the presentation with your vocal cords. So I'm leaving 1 and 2. 1 will still be male. 2 will still be female. Except now we're doing singulars. So I'm going to change it to singulars. And we already discussed that our sentence is I eat. What did I say? Gefilte fish? What did I say? Gefilte fish on Monday. So ani, we know that's genderless. That'll be for both. And then the verb, as we said, as Steve said, ani ochel. Gefilte fish on Monday. I'll add it below, because it'll be for both. It's in Yiddish, but we just write it as is, sir, because it's the same letters. Word. Be. Yom Don't confuse the shva here, it's accidentally inside the thing. Board is still okay. Beyom sheni. Okay. So we see a lot of particles repeat. We see be. Need to vowel you.
If you skip the bay and just put yom, shmi, you're okay too.
Sorry, sir?
Stop putting the bay, yom, shmi.
אני אוכל gefilte fish יום שני. Yeah, you can do that. People, yeah. I mean, you can drop the be. It'll still work. But, so for the sake of reading it, אני אוכל gefilte fish ביום שני. אני אוכל gefilte fish ביום שני. I eat gefilte fish on Monday. We can also drop the be and say אני אוכל gefilte fish יום שני. It'll mean I eat gefilte fish Monday. Still makes sense, right? So that's the male. So I will speak this way, sir. You will say ani ochel, I eat, or I am eating. It can also be I am eating. Again, depending on the context.
Fish is fish. Hebrew's got a.
No, fish in Hebrew is dag, but the dish is called this way. The dish is called this way, which is why, yeah, we just write it as is. Note, we have two pays here without the emphasis inside them, making them sound like an F. What else? We have the be. We already said we can drop it. It'll still mean a logical sentence. And we have Monday, which, as we just said about Sunday, means the second day. Okay? So Shani alone means second. Okay? Shani means second. Yom means day. Together, Yom Shani, it means Monday or the second day, if we are to be literal. Now the female. How? Let's say I'm a female, I'm a woman. How will I say it? I eat, because this is the male version. And I actually just asked, I don't know if on Zoom you heard, I asked, how will a woman will say it? Ani holechet. I don't remember who said it, I think Carol, but yeah, it was very well done. And we see that the sounds repeat. I'll vowel it. Hole. We can see and hear the it sound. It, here. Okay? And the male, it ends with technically no vowel. Okay? Ani ochel. Okay? It's no vowel. In comparison to ani holech. What did I say? Holechet. It's ochelet. I'll fix it. Wait. Ochelet. Still on the walking. Ochelet. What is it? But as you can see, they repeat. I got confused. I wrote walking, but as you can see, the vowels even repeat. Ochelet. Ani ochelet. Ani ochel, male. Ani ochelet, female. Is there a female in the audience who wants to read it? This and the continuance of the sentence. here in the Zoom. One of the Kathys, Kara. Does anyone want to try?
Ani okelet gefilte fish b'yom sheni.
Nice, wonderful, ma'am. Well done.
Thank you.
אני אוכלת גפילטה fish ביום שני. Fish. Note that we have the chafs without the emphasis, making it a ch, so a kh. So yeah, that's ani. I am eating gefilte fish on Monday. Any questions about that? Awesome. So, like last time, I'm going to leave the bottom because that will not change. And I'm going to erase the me's because I want to do the plural. Now, make it easy for you. I'll leave the verbs here. I'll just remove the male and female endings and vowels. So we want to say us. How do we say us? We are. We just said it. Anachnu. I'll write it again because us or we are can either be a group of males, can be a group of females, or it can be both. Okay. And now we're doing plural. So the top is still male or masculine, except now it's plural or a group of males. And the bottom or number 2 is plural females, plural feminine. So we have anachnu, which means us or we are, as we just said. And I left this here. Does anyone want to try conjugating eat the plural males? Remember, the sounds repeat. How will it sound? Ochel is singular male. How is plural males? Sorry? Im. Wonderful, sir. Anachnu ochlim. I'll add the vowels. Would you like to read it all, sir? Anachnu ochlim.
אנחנו אוכלים גפילטה פיש ביום שני.
Wonderful. Except you said ha gefilte fish. We don't have the ha here. But yeah, אנחנו אוכלים gefilte fish ביום שני. Well done. We are eating gefilte fish on Monday. Same thing. I can drop the ba. אנחנו אוכלים gefilte fish יום שני. We are eating gefilte fish Monday. Still makes sense. And the females. Any takers for the females? Olechet is singular female. How do we do plural female? The sound repeats as well. Ot. Well done, man. So anachnu ochlot. I'll add it. Yeah. Remember, endings im for plural males, ending ot for plurals, females. אנחנו אוכלות gefilte fish ביום שני. Same thing. We are eating gefilte fish on Monday. Questions so far? Same thing. If I erase the אנחנו, like last example, and do the they are. Okay? Amen. Hem or hen, they or they are. הם אוכלים gefilte fish ביום שני. They are eating gefilte fish on Monday. Or female, הן אוכלות gefilte fish ביום שני. They are eating gefilte fish on Monday, except now we're talking about females. And as you can see, we can play around with it. What I want you to remember are the stuff we are using, okay? So to, at, and the patterns, really. Start with yourself, continue on to the other genders and groups. That's the easiest way to go. So no questions. How are we on times? Yeah, it's 8:04. So what I'll do is I'll move on to the other dependent verbs I've been talking about.
Nothing?
Please.
So if you want to say he is eating, it would still be the same pattern?
Yes, ma'am. הוא אוכל. Like אני אוכל, הוא אוכל. Or she is eating, he אוכלת. Same thing. Would you like me to write it down, ma'am?
I'm good. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we can, now that we have it, we can play around with it, you know? And build sentences and say stuff. I do want to do the verb need. And it will be the same pattern, like these. It's not irregular. I just want to do it because it's a good verb to know. It is a dependent verb because I can't just say I need. What do you need? And in contrast to I am eating, which can stand alone. So we'll do that. And as you can see, we will not get to questions today, probably. We did kind of do some of the question words earlier in the lesson, in the class. Don't worry, we have the cushion space. We will get to it. I'm erasing the blackboard. So going back to me, lonesome I, which can be either singular male, singular female. We already know ani. Okay, two anis. How do I say need? I need.
Tariq.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. You've been studying. Well done. So that's single male. Ani tzarich. What do I need? Let's say I need help. Okay. I'm gonna add help below. Does anyone want to read this one? Any volunteers?
That's right.
Well done, sir. So, Ezra means help. Okay, that means help. And not to be confused with Ezra, the name. I'm pretty sure Ezra, the name means Ezer Ha, which means custodial of the creator, something else. But in the modern sense, Ezra means help. So let's say I'm a lonesome male. I'm alone and I'm a male. And I'm in Israel and I need help. Ani tzarich Ezra. Okay? Ani tzarich Ezra. I need help. Or let's say another example. A hospital.
Very cute.
Sorry? And I will move out of the way so you can read it once I vowel. Who wants to read this? The first word should be familiar. Beit Cholim, wonderful. Beit, house of, if you remember synagogue, Beit Knesset, house of gathering. Beit Cholim, which means house of the sick. And the sick in this sense is pluralized male, Cholim. You can see it here. Beit Cholim, house of the sick.
We
Or,
made a hay, like,
where, sir? Where? Here? Here? I can add a hey here and do house of the sick. That's what I can. Like here, house of the sick. Beit HaCholim. But in this sense, I'm speaking about I just need a hospital. So, אני צריך בית חולים. I need a hospital. Does that make sense? So, female version. How would a female say it? Same thing. The bottom stays the same. Who wants to read? This is female. Number 2.
Ani tzrika
Well
Beit
done.
Cholim.
Well done. אני צריכה בית חולים. I need a hospital. Or אני צריכה עזרה. I need help. Speaking as a female. Any questions about this? Sir, did I answer what your question was?
yeah, it was just, looks like a 10 and not H. Oh,
Here? So this is a final mem.
that's the first one. That's
Oh, here? Oh. Yeah, I should have. Made it better. Can you see it better now, sir? Het.
still written.
Sorry? Not to be confused with hey. Hey and het. Okay? So ch, ha. This is H, this is Chet. I'm gonna leave the bottom there. Those are good examples to know. And change it to the plural. Anachnu, we are. And we also can see that anachnu and ani come from the same group of words. It is an irregular, which is why I never delved into it, but the sounds repeat. I will point out, in this sense, unlike ochelet, ani tzricha. If you remember from the gender lesson, female versus male, a is also a female indicative. We see it here. Ani tzricha. Oh yeah.
Vowel in the first letter changes though.
Yeah, it does. But I will say that, I mean, it differs from male, but the root is the same. We can see that tzaddik, resh, and chaf. And people are still writing, so I'm gonna wait for a moment. Let's see if I'm forgetting something I wanted to do. Okay, so we did talk about questions in the previous classes. I want to do it better. I wanted to do it to dedicate a lesson to it. What we will do is regard it later on. We will have time for it. I'm trying to show you that we can compile and build sentences that bear meaning. And really not at a toddler level, in a day-to-day level. I need help, I need a hospital, things, God forbid, we won't need to use, but if we do, there it is. And now I'm gonna erase the blackboard. And let's do us. We already said anachnu.
What is Tuesday?
Shlishi.
What?
Shlishi. Yom Shlishi.
Arba is the-
Arba is 4. Revi'i, which is from the same root of Arba, means 4th. Okay. Top one, number 1, plural males, plural females. Number 2. We already know us, anachnu, we just said it. And the second one here. Okay. Anachnu ve'anachnu. Us and us. I'm gonna add the root. Never mind. Okay, so I'm gonna just finish it because I do want to get to need as well. Who wants to read the top? Wonderful. אנחנו צריכים. Note the im sound. So אנחנו צריכים עזרה. אנחנו צריכים בית חולים. We need, which means a group of males, but for the sake of the matter, if it's me and Kara, I will say אנחנו צריכים. Okay? אנחנו צריכים עזרה. אנחנו צריכים בית חולים. We need help. We need a hospital. Got the Yud here. Any takers for number 2? Well done. Almost 100%, sir. אנחנו צריכות. Why is it not צריכות? Because we have the shva here. Yeah. אנחנו צריכות עזרה. אנחנו צריכות בית חולים. We need a hospital. So let's say Carol and Phyllis, if you're alone in Israel, but you're together in Israel, and you need help. אנחנו צריכות עזרה. See how we are on times. Any questions so far? On Zoom? Any questions on Zoom? Okay, awesome. Now, if you remember from the last examples, if I erase אנחנו and say they, or they are, it will still work. Does anyone remember how to say they are in a plural masculine way?
Him,
Wonderful, all around. Him. הם צריכים עזרה. They need help. הם צריכים בית חולים. They need a hospital. Anyone remember the female? Hen. Awesome, all around. הן צריכות. צריכות עזרה. They need help. הן צריכות בית חולים. They need a hospital. Now, what's the other one I wanted to do? Oh, want, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do the first slide of want, ani. I'm gonna do I want, female and male. Real quick, and then we have just a few more minutes I'll speak about next week. And I think the rabbi has a few announcements. So we'll do that. And note that help or hospital still work for this. So I want help, I want a hospital, still works. And then at home, I want you all to do the plural, and whoever sends it to me will get points. But no, seriously, it's really hard to know how people they follow, if they don't follow. Singular female, singular masculine. Again, remember practice, practice, practice. אני think it's an irregular. I'll check. Does anyone want to read? A male volunteer for the male example. At home. Sir Clarence, we haven't heard from you in a while. I guess it goes for me. Ani, I am, or me, or I. או, רוצה. אני רוצה. אני רוצה. Note that it ends with a vowel, which is why I'm suspecting it's an irregular. I'm gonna put a star here for myself to remember to make sure. אני רוצה. So I'm a male. Let's say I'm in Israel. I want help. אני רוצה עזרה. Now that help doesn't have to be that crucial or critical in that sense. It can be, let's say I'm in a souvenir shop. אני רוצה עזרה. I need help. Sorry? And then a female volunteer for the second one. Any takers? Well done, ma'am. Well done. אני רוצה. אני רוצה עזרה. אני רוצה בית חולים. I want help. I want the hospital. So note for myself to make sure if this is an irregular or not. I'm suspecting that it is. Homework for you all, either do it or don't, but by all means, do the female and male plurals. Practice. So I'm gonna stop here in terms of new material. We did start doing some question words in the past lessons. We will continue that, no worries. Just to summarize what we did today, we tackled verbs and independent verbs. That is because this is a very big part of language and communicating. Most of what we do is verbs, which is why I postponed particle et for the next two lessons. Note, we treat it almost like a calculus table. There will be the singular, the plural, male, female, the sounds repeat, we see it, we have the patterns, and we see how the root of the word repeats, and the vowels. And the add-ons, im, ot, it, so for female, male, plural, singular, all of that. No worries, we have a lot of cushion time to get to all of our syllabus. We will. I do want to say I will finalize and send another worksheet that deals with this later in the week, hopefully Thursday, probably Friday, but I'll do my best. I don't believe I'm forgetting anything. Anything at home, something I'm forgetting, anything you want to say, you have a question for me? In that sense, if we don't, Stephanie, ma'am, I think we can stop the recording here. The rabbi will have a